In Wheelock chapter 36, we just have two different things to learn. First, adjussive noun clauses. It's a form of almost indirect commands, and so it's really not complicated at all. It's really nothing new to learn, just a new term to add to your list of ways to describe the Latin language, really. So a direct command is hoc facita. Hoc facita, hoc facita, do this. Or we could list that command with adjussive subjunctive. That's where the subjunctive is used as the main verb, and in English we say let us or let them for that. So hoc faciant, let them do this. Now we're going to learn another way to talk about commands, adjussive noun clause. Imperat vobis, he commands you, ut hoc faciatis. Now that kind of looks like a purpose clause. In order that you should do this. So I guess you could translate it that way. Imperat vobis ut hoc faciatis. He commands you in order that you do this. But really it's the ut clause is really just the the object of the verb. He commands something to you. He commands you to do this. Likewise, here's another example. Petavit abeis ne hoc facerent. Petivit, can't pronounce things today. This is long. Petivit abeis ne hoc facerent. He begged them, and we could say lest they do this thing, but it's he begged them not to do this. So he gives you Wheelock gives you a nice list of these different phrases beginning on page 303 on to 304. So hortor eam ut, we're not going to translate that I urged him in order that he whatever. We're just going to say I urge him to, and so forth. So again, it's really just a new way of describing or thinking about how commands are formed in Latin. It's not going to cause you any problems when you encounter them in translations. And then the other topic in chapter 36 is another irregular verb, fio, fieri, factus sum. And this word is interesting. It's an active verb, although it has this passive, only this passive use in the perfect tense. But a verb, it has active forms, but it's almost used as the passive voice of facio. So Latin, instead of saying facitur for it is done, would use this verb, fit, it is done. So you have on page 304 and 305, you have the forms of fio, and you should look them over. So hoc facit, he is doing this. And then to say that in the passive, you would say hoc fit, this is done. Hoc faciat, let him do this, but in a passive sense, you'd use hoc fiat, let this be done. So you can look over his description and the forms of fio. Again, there's nothing irregular about it per se. A few of the forms are shorter than you might imagine, but it's very straightforward. The forms are easy to recognize. You may want, however, to make a flashcard of some of these forms, and just remember it's essentially passive in meaning, that something is done or that something is made. Okay, and then quite a bit of vocabulary in these last few chapters, so you'll want to study that very carefully. And then two translations. Let's do numbers 1 and 3 from page 306.